Here are two very, very different numbers. This one is an extremely small decimal number, 0.000018. Okay, it means it has no tenths, no hundredths, no thousandths, no 10,000ths. The first time that we can see a number is when it comes to 1/100,000ths. Whereas here, we've got no units, no tens, no hundreds, no 10,000s, no thousands, but we do start to have a 10,000th number here. We have 80,000, and we also have 100,000. So we have the number 180,000, whereas this number, 0.000018, is 18/100,000ths. It's a very small number. So if we were to say that I was to give away some money, would you prefer it if I was to give you £180,000, or would you prefer it if I was to give you 18/100,000th of a pound? This wouldn't even be as much as a penny. It would be a tiny fraction of a penny. So of course you would say to me, Wendy, I'd like you to give me this amount. Right, let's put these two into scientific notation and see how similar the numbers end up being. If we were to convert 180,000 into scientific notation, we know we need one number, then the decimal point, followed by the remaining numbers. In this case, it would be like this. But we wouldn't need to write all of these zeros, because 1.8 is the same as 1.80. So we'd start with the decimal 1.8, and then we'd have to see, how could we get back to 180,000? What number would I have to multiply 1.8 back to get back to my real number, which was 180,000? Well, I'd have to multiply it by 100,000. 1.8 times 100,000 would give me 180,000. But that's not the way we use for scientific notation. The way that we think is, to get from 180,000 to 1.8, how many positions have I moved the decimal point backwards? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the technique in scientific notation is we write 1.8 times 10 to the power of, and how many times did I move the decimal point back? 5. So it gives us the answer 1.8 times 10 to the 5. Are these two the same thing? Well, yes, because this number 100,000 could be written as 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. 5 lots of 10 multiplied by one another. This would give you 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. It's the same thing. When we've got the same number multiplied by itself 5 times, we can write that as being 1.8 times 10 multiplied by itself 5 times is the power of 5. 10 to the power of 5. All of these things mean the same thing. But this technique of just moving the decimal point 5 places back and using the number of points that you move backwards to get you the power here saves a lot of time. Let's use this technique then to go and convert this number to scientific notation. Well, we'd say that we want it to be, the first number that we have is 1.8 times 10 to the power of. And here is the important thing. It would say minus. When we were going this way, we were making the number a lot smaller, so we had to multiply by a positive power of 10 to get the answer correct, as it was before. So when we're moving this way with the decimal point, how many places do I need to move my decimal point to get 1.8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places again, but it's now to the minus 5. Why is it to the minus 5, and what does that minus 5 mean? Well, it actually means 1.8 divided by 10 to the power of 5. That's what the minus means. The minus means that it isn't times 10 to the power of 5. It means it's divided by 10 to the power of 5. So this minus here actually tells you that there's a big divide line here. between your 1.8 and your factor of 10. So what does that mean then? Well, it means that it's 1.8 divided by 10 to the power of 5, we know is 5 zeros, 100,000. So this is saying that this number is 1.8 divided by 100,000. Here we have 5 zeros, so we'd move the decimal point 5 places back. So if we had 1.8 here, we'd have to move the decimal point 5 places back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our decimal point would now be here. And wherever there are these gaps, we fill in the zeros. So we would get 0.00018 if we divided 1.8 by 100,000. We'd get back to our starting number. So what I wanted to show you here, the most important thing to understand is the importance of this minus sign being correct here. 1.8 times 10 to the minus 5 means that you're dividing 1.8 by 10 to the power of 5, giving you an extremely small number. Whereas in this case, 1.8 times 10 to the power of plus 5, you're multiplying 1.8 by 100,000. So understanding these concepts in scientific notation and what the minus term means, it means divided by 10 to the power of 5. And multiplied by 10 to the power of 5 means multiplied by 10 5 times.